do we have the right data to make the decisions that we need to make for my organization? Am I looking at one slice instead of all the slices? Can I work with all the data I need to answer this question really, really well? And I think that's the moment we're in right now. We have new capabilities that, frankly, I don't think we could have imagined even 5 or 6 years ago that are now so widely adopted. How many people in here have tried to do something that they didn't think they could do with AI? I mean, like vibe coded an app, or, I made this video and, I knew I could code already. So I wasn't I played with it. But I think, you can create a new model in Excel. Like it's like some really fundamental things are now possible quickly. And I think the part of it is just figuring out, how do I translate that from my organization into how I show up and how I work differently, and how I approach my job and how I think about the value I take to my organization, and how do I think about the value that I create, and what I want to focus on and what I can do uniquely. And this change is about system-led transformation moving towards person-led, because it's so much about the skills that all of us need to acquire to actually thrive in this next wave. So if you think about every one of us who were in roles where a big part of our role was producing, right? So if you're a financial analyst, a big part of your role is producing the decks, producing the materials, producing the outputs that everyone sees in looking at the results. But there was a lot of time spent on producing, building models, running various variances, writing the commentary. And all of that stuff now can be done very quickly at machine speed. And that's the point, is it fundamentally, we're looking at a world where the value starts shifting more to the things we're uniquely good at, not the things that we can do because we have to do them, the things that we're uniquely good at. And I think that's what is different, right? So it used to take, I always think about business days. So towards the close, companies used to take 20 days. And then over time, we got better and better at producing this, 5, 7, 3. And I think part of that has been this journey of automation. We're now at the next step. What does this mean for those business days? Do we get to real time? Because all the production can happen so quickly. But when production gets cheaper, something else gets more valuable, and judgment gets more valuable. Reasoning the results, of running and planning multiple scenarios. You can produce 10 versions of the plan at speed and analyze which one's the best fit in a way that you couldn't do before. And that's really what this opportunity is about. It's not just about the tools, it's about thinking about, how do I take advantage of what the tools can do for me? And then how do I use that as a moment to apply more judgment? So software development, I spent my whole life, really, since I was a kid in middle school, writing software. And now suddenly lines of code can be spit out by the machine faster than I can do it. Of course, it still takes orchestration to bring it together, to create something valuable. It requires orchestration and judgment. But the actual production is now less expensive. And the risk also is that if we over rely on the machine, everything kind of falls to the middle. That there's no uniqueness about how each one of us is approaching our roles, how each company is approaching the market. And we have to keep that, right? Because if everyone does everything the same, value does go to zero over time. And it's the differentiation and judgment and how different people approach things is where value is created. And I think that's what's so unique about this moment.